Welcome back, moms, to Full Body Strength. Let's go ahead, check in on that space, check in on our posture before we get started. So we want to make sure we've got about 3 feet of space around us. If you've got more, that's amazing. Feel free to travel any of these movements around your space. And as for posture, let's make sure that we've always got that soft bend in those knees. We're hugging baby up and inwards. So I want you to imagine you've got an imaginary string in between those pelvic bones, and we're pulling it up and in towards our diaphragm. And naturally with that, you'll find that our pelvis naturally starts to shift to be more upright, as if it were a bowl of water, and we leave it alone, we get that curve, it's pouring out the front. So once we pull baby up and in, that will help close those scissors. You'll hear me say that a lot. That helps align that posture to a neutral spine. All right, now that we're all started, have that water close by. Let's reach right on in, lace those fingers together, and exhale, drop it down. One more time, breathing right on in. Exhale, drop it down. And one more time, let's breathe right on in, and then let's take it to the left. Feeling that gentle stretch along our lat muscles, along our sides. And let's bring ourselves back to center, switching sides. Leaning over, stretching out, lengthening that left side. Bring yourselves back to center. Very gently, let's keep those toes, knees, hips facing forward. Thoracic spine twist just to the left. Bring yourselves back to center. Let's twist to the right. On the next inhale, let's bring ourselves back to center. Going ahead, let's very gently fold forward. As far as your body will allow. Just stretching those hamstrings very gently. You can widen your stance if you need here as well. And with every stretch, we're not bouncing and we're not causing ourselves any pain. Bring yourselves back up. Let's go ahead, lowering ourselves down to the ground for that world's greatest stretch. So we're stepping that left leg as far forward as we can into a nice deep lunge. Bringing those hands out beside us, and then we open up to the right. Feeling that stretch down those hamstrings, those quadriceps, that glute. Bring your hands back to center. Let's switch sides. Left leg comes forward, deep lunge. And then bringing those hands to the inside of that leg, opening it up. All right, let's bring those hands back in, stepping those legs back, reaching those hands forward, driving those fingers into the floor, dropping those shoulder blades back and away for child's pose. Feeling that nice, gentle stretch along our backs. All right, let's bring ourselves to all fours. And engaging those abs, practicing bracing those deep core. Let's go ahead, tuck that belly button into the spine, rounding that spine for cat pose. And then exhale, let it all go. Drop it down to the ground. One more time, bring that belly button into the spine, rounding it up, tucking that chin. Exhale, let it all go. One more time, let's bring ourselves back. And then let's let it all go. Very slowly, very gently, let's bring ourselves back up to standing. Getting things moving here. Let's go ahead. Great big circles with those hips. So we're screwing those feet into the floor. When you send those booties back, you'll feel a gentle stretch along the back of your thighs. When those hips come forward, we should feel a very gentle stretch along the fronts. Waking up those muscles. Waking up our joints. All right, let's switch directions. Alrighty, one last little step in this dynamic warm-up. We're going to do some high knees, but we're going to do them almost like A skips. So we're going to bring that right leg up with the left elbow and switch. Driving those knees through the ceiling, meeting them with the opposite arm. Checking in on that posture, our ears down and away from our shoulders. Bracing with that deep core, hugging baby up and in. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now that we're nice and warm, let's grab that water, grab those bands, grab those weights. We'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get things started with our circuit A. First squat movement, we're just gonna do some classic squats. So feet are about shoulder width apart. Screw those legs into the floor. We're gonna drop those booties down and back like we're sitting down in a chair. Squeezing on the way up, pressing those feet through the floor. Dropping down like we're sitting in a chair. Chest stays nice and proud. It's all about strengthening that posterior chain. Those glutes, those hams, those backs. Everything in parenthood, in pregnancy, seems to happen out here. So we're just trying to work on a little more symmetry through the back. All right, we got 15 more seconds. Almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, onto that push motion. Grab onto those weights. We're gonna do a single hand overhead press. So bringing those weights up, we're gonna punch through the ceiling, alternating. Keeping those shoulders down and away from our ears. Hugging baby up and in. Have a drink of water every time I say that. And remember to keep a soft bend in those knees. If you've ever watched those America's Funniest Home videos where the bridesmaid passes out, the choir singer passes out, it's usually because they were locking out their knees. So keeping that natural bend. All right, and 15 more seconds, we're almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set down those weights, grab that band. We're gonna do some wonderful banded rows. So tucking that band underneath your foot. Nice split stance. Bring those elbows up like we're starting a lawnmower. And remember, we're pinching those shoulder blades together. Bracing with that deep core by hugging baby up and in, bringing belly button up and in. That core, even though we can't do sit-ups, can't do those dynamic movements right now, our core is also there to provide stability in the presence of instability. And everything we do with our limbs creates instability. So we need our cores to keep us upright, to keep us stable. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. And while we're here, we're gonna do some banded single leg deadlifts. So keep that band underneath that first foot, and we'll switch sides. Drop those hands down along our shins. Bring them back up, hinging forward. Remember to tuck those shoulders back away from those ears. We've got that $1 million check. We've got our favorite pen in between our shoulder blades. All right, 4 more, we'll switch sides. And 3, 4, switching sides, placing it under the other foot, setting ourselves up, screwing that foot into the floor, and we're hinging forward, resisting that band on the way down, and bringing those hips forward and through on the way up. All right, 15 more seconds of these guys. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, grab a quick drink of water, but we're gonna get right into it here in 10 seconds. Right back at the top with our squats. So we're screwing those feet into the floor. They're about shoulder width apart. Drop those booties back and down like you're sitting in a chair. Already going through the second half of circuit A. If this gets too easy, grab those weights or play around with the tempo. Slow it down on the way down, explode up. Dropping it down, squeezing those glutes at the top, driving through the floor like we're pushing the floor away from us. We've got 20 more seconds of these bad boys. Ten seconds, almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab those weights for that single arm overhead press. Bring them up, hugging baby up and in, closing those scissors of our pelvis. Shoulder press up. Keeping ourselves as upright as we can. We're not Jane Fonda, we're not pitching around. Halfway there. So close, round 2, circuit A. "15 more seconds. You can do 15 seconds of anything. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set those weights down, grab that band. Halfway there. Let's go ahead, tucking that under our foot. Bringing those elbows up to our chest. Bent over rows with those bands. Like we're starting that lawnmower, and we're pinching those shoulder blades together at the top of the movement. And we're not letting those bands do all the work on the way down. All right, 15 more seconds of this. And we're on to those single leg banded deadlifts. Always kind of adding another variation to our tool belts. And 2, 1. Let's prop up that leg as a kickstand. Let those hands go down along our shins, hinge forward. And remember those double chins. And to brace with that core, we're hugging maybe up and in. And we're tucking those chins at the full extension of the movement. All right, and let's go ahead and switch. Band goes down the other leg. The old working leg comes down as our little kickstand. And we're hinging forward like the hinges on a door. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, moms, go grab that water, give yourself a nice drink, and we'll see you for circuit B. All right, welcome back. Let's get right into it. First set of circuit B, we're gonna do some goblet squats. So grabbing your weight, placing the little knobbly bit right in between those palms, screwing those feet into the floor. Let's drop those booties back and down like we're sitting in a chair. And keeping those chests nice and proud. And remember, what are we doing with baby? We're hugging baby up and in. We're bringing those belly buttons up and in. And we want to have that nice pelvis. We're counteracting that curvature of the lower spine that we can get. 20 more seconds of this. We're so close. If you have a kettlebell, this is an awesome one to do with those. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead, setting down that weight. It's all about the bands for the rest of this circuit. So we're going to tuck that band underneath our armpits like the straps of a backpack. Soft bend in those knees, hug baby up and in. Let's punch forward, banded chest press. Here's a side view. Bracing with those abs. They're generating that stability in the presence of instability. "20 more seconds of these. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. We are so close. Bring that band out in front of you now. Slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Let's pull it apart. Band pull aparts. Most creative name out there in the exercise world right there. Dropping those shoulders down and away from those ears. Resisting that band on the way up. We're not just letting it slap closed. We are taking our time. If it gets a little tricky, pull those hands a little bit further apart. And if it's too easy, go ahead and inch them closer together. 10 more seconds of these. We're so close. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down. Next up, we've got those banded deadlifts. So let's take that band, tuck it underneath both of our feet this time. Just about hip width apart. Holding on with a nice firm grip. Screwing those feet into the floor. Let's hinge, bring those hips forward and through for some nice banded deadlifts. Keeping that chin tucked, squeezing with those glutes. I really want you to think of this as a hinge and not a pull. Shoulder blades are staying nice and locked together. Squeezing with those booties at the top of the movement. 5 more seconds and we're back to round 1 with those goblet squats. 3, 2, and 1. Set these bands aside. They get a little mini break. And let's grab those weights for that goblet squat. Feet are screwed into the floor, slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Drop those booties down. Keeping those chests proud. And let's check in on intensity while we're here. Are you at a point where you can talk but not sing? That's kind of that sweet spot. And it's really easy just to do that talk test. If it's getting a little tricky, just ramp things down. And if it's too easy, you know the drill, ramp it up. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, grab those bands. Banded chest press, so we're tucking that band right underneath those armpits. Knuckles towards your screen. Punch it forward. And what are we doing with our bellies? Are our abs braced? So that belly button up and in, engaging those transverse abdominis. And checking on those knees. We've got that soft bend. Halfway there. All right, 15 more seconds. All right, final countdown. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing that band across. What we do one way, we have to do the other day. So bring those hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Let's pull that band across. Right about to kind of polo shirt button height. And pinching those shoulder blades together. Those ears are backing down. They're not up here. Hugging baby up and in always. That's kind of the only way we can engage those transverse abdominis during pregnancy. And 15 more seconds. All right, final countdown in 10. 3, 2, 1. Last set. We're so close. Get those bands underneath those feet. Feet are shoulder width apart. Screwing those feet into the floor. Sticking those booties out. And let's hinge forward, tucking those chins. Banded deadlifts. Really driving those feet through the floor and not letting that band do all the work on the way down. Let's keep those chests proud. Babies hugged up and in, and shoulder blades back and down. Lots to remember on this one. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there you have it. Those are our working sets. Go grab that water and I'll see you for core and a cool down. All right, we've made it. Let's cool things down. Reaching right on up. Lace those fingers together and exhale, drop it down. Reaching right on up. And now let's go ahead, take it to the left side. And on the next inhale, let's bring ourselves back to center, switching sides. Reaching those arms out nice and wide, very gently folding forward as far as your body will allow. Bring those hands up. One more time, let's take it down one more time. Very gently, let's bring ourselves down to the floor. You know already what it is. Time for some cat-cows. Stepping up nice and wide, breathing in. Belly button comes to that spine. Exhale, drop it down. One more time, belly button to spine. Exhale, drop it down. One last time, bring it right on up. And as we drop it down, let's drop those bums to our heels for child's pose. Driving all fingers into the floor. On the next inhale, let's bring ourselves back to all fours. We're going to go ahead and get right into those bird dogs. So reaching up, opposite arm, opposite leg, meet them in the middle, and that is 1 rep. We'll rep it out on one side, and then switch over to the other side. Keeping ourselves as square with the mats as we can through the hips and the shoulders. And in 5, we'll switch sides. 3, 2, 1. Hands come down, switching sides. And 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop those hands, drop those legs down. Let's take our right leg, bring it out in front of us. Our shin is touching the ground. Dropping it down, pigeon stretch. Stretching out those glute medius, those hamstrings. Really great one if you have sore hips or sciatic pain. I really enjoy this stretch. Switching sides, very gently sending that leg backwards. Opposite leg comes forward. That shin is touching the ground. Pigeon stretch. Dropping ourselves down, putting our right leg right in front of us, bending forward. You're welcome to see if you can touch your toes. Bring yourselves back up to center, switching sides. All right, bring ourselves to center. Let's take our left ear, bring it to our left shoulder, like we're holding a phone. Back before the days of speakerphone or before the days of Bluetooth. Switching over to the other side, right ear to right shoulder. Now let's go ahead, taking our right hand, hugging it across our body. Switching sides, left hand comes across. All right, very gently, one last time with me. Let's breathe right on in, lacing those fingers together. And exhale, drop it down. One more time, big breath in. And exhale, drop it down. One last time with me, breathing right on in. And exhale, drop it down. Thank you so much for joining me. Grab that water, and we'll see you next time.